Hi, beautiful ones. My intention with the Shamangelic Healing podcast is to be a platform that explores real-life issues and provides you with valuable insights and practical tools to support you on your journey of healing core wounds and reclaiming your power and manifesting a thriving, impactful life that you absolutely love. You see, it's my dream to inspire millions to shine. So if you find these topics valuable, please take a moment and share the podcast and leave us a rave review. This helps the podcast grow and reach the people that would greatly benefit from these insights. Thank you so much for tuning in and investing in your personal development. I'm right here walking this journey with you. So let's dive into this episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Shamangelic Healing podcast. Ooh, we've got something special for you today. My sweet soul sister, Makenzie Marsluff, is here, and we are going to dive into conscious business, conscious commerce, and shifting from the old paradigm of how we orient to prosperity and business, so that we can create more of a win for humanity, a win for ourselves, and a win for the planet in all that we do, a win for our health, a win for our consciousness. And this sister knows about really manifestation from a heart-centered place. You've been on the Shark Tank and have already birthed a number of different businesses and are able to shift from a product-based business to virtual business. And you are absolutely walking the walk, talking the talk, like you're doing it. And so I'm so excited to have you on the show today. And I'm looking forward to connecting when you come to visit here in Sedona as well.
I'm counting down the days for that. And thank you for having me. And thank you to the listeners for being here. I'm really excited to dive in and see what comes through.
Yes. Tell everybody just a little bit about your business. And we
Yes.
also have a super cool free gift, a couple of free gifts. So tell them what you're offering them, because this is the best ever. I'm so excited to share this gift with everybody.
Love it. So I'm really in the food business. You know, food is the way I pour my love into the world and infuse my heart into and offer that forward. How I serve, how I spread my glitter, I call it. So I have a couple businesses. The first one is Delighted by. Actually, we invented the original dessert hummus. So if you haven't heard of dessert hummus before, Delighted by actually brought that to market and was the first in 2015. And we're actually going through a huge rebirth right now, which I'm sure we'll talk about, because we got deep into the food industry and shined a light on a lot that wasn't in alignment and isn't going to serve our future generations, that's for sure. And we pulled back earlier this year and have decided to rebirth from a totally different place, and a place that feels good to me. And we're actually now starting our own facility, bringing production in-house. And when we do launch, whether it's pre-orders or when you order, you can actually get a discount code if you're listening to this podcast. So 15% off all orders if you use Anahata as the discount code. And we also have, oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about.
The bar.
There's so much to talk about. And then there's another entity of mine. My partner, Michael, and I were the co-founders of Request Bar, which has a huge mission on this planet to get people to dream bigger, to dream again, to pursue their wildest dreams, to take action, bold action, to do what scares the shit out of them, we say. And really knowing that, like, request and you will receive. And so these bars hold what we call visionary codes, and when you eat them, we want you to request to the universe, what is it you're requesting?
And I love the intention of putting it into your body, into your mind, into your heart and soul, and so that there's a whole visceral experience to requesting what you want, and then it gets transmitted into the body.
Yes.
What I love about your bar, because this was my first question of, like, when we were talking about the bar, I'm like, okay, what does it not have in it?
Exactly.
I'm like, what is it free of was my question, not like what is in it, but what is not in it. And so, yes, it is gluten-free. Yes, it is dairy-free. Yes, it is pesticide-free and all of that. It is organic and it is vegan and it is low glycemic. And I'm like, yes, this is the bar for me. This is the bar for my peeps. And so
Aw.
absolutely, when we're talking about conscious commerce, you're embodying that with the vision of having conscious ethics in production, but also in the consumption and in the quality of the product, because that is
Oh.
consciousness in all ways. And it's a transition.
Mhm.
It doesn't start like the intention starts there, and it takes time to actually create that in all ways to make the transition from the old paradigm. So we're going to talk about that. But the
Yes.
code is Anahata to
Yes.
get 20% off
Mhm.
for any bars that you request.
Exactly. Yes. So requestbar.com to use that. And then the previous one, we'll have it in the show notes, I'm sure, but
Yes.
delightedbydesserts.com. So both
Okay.
those. Enjoy.
So at checkout, they just drop the Anahata in, or
Yes.
do they need
Mhm.
that? Okay, cool. So we're going to
Exactly.
have that in the show notes. We'll have the links directly to that, plus
Mhm.
the code Anahata, Anahata.
Yay.
Lots of A's opens the heart. So,
Mm.
um, so anyway, we wanted to give you that, and also for internal alignment, a free guided chakra balancing visualization, so that when you are making your choices for how you spend your dollars, when you are making your choices for what you're dreaming and how you are choosing to be with commerce, prosperity in your own business, or how you spend your money, what you invest in, or how you make your money, this free guided visualization for balancing the chakras will help with that internal alignment, so that you can make choices from that place.
I love that.
So go to the show notes, get all of the codes, get all the discounts, because you can be noshing on this request bar as you are manifesting from the universe your
Mhm.
dreams into reality. So
So good.
and you've been on Shark Tank. You have been like in the trenches doing this, and so um, you've looked under the hood of unconscious business practices,
Mhm.
right? And we've
Yeah,
all been part of that. We've all
totally.
participated in,
100%.
in commerce that is more fear based or greed based, or I win, you lose, or planet loses. And so
Mm.
talk to us a little bit about why that isn't working, and what kind of vibrational impact commerce from that place has had on humanity and on planet.
Mhm. That's a really big question. So when what I see and what we all experience is business, or decisions that are being made from fear. And the fear, what I believe is, the fear is that there's not enough. There's not enough, so I need to take from myself, or at the most from my family. And it's those decisions are actually scary. The impact of those decisions are actually what is scary, because it continues to separate us and keep us out of community, and acting from the heart, where that community is thriving across the board, and that no one is losing. But if someone actually begins to believe that there is enough, then they'll act from a different place.
Yeah.
They'll make a decision from a different place. They'll think of the whole picture. And this is why I talk a lot about restoring the feminine within business, not because I'm out against the masculine, or I'm like, F patriarchy or anything like that from a place of anger, while I've been there. Where I'm at now is a deep desire and readiness, and conscious participation in restoring the feminine, because the feminine part of us, whether you're male or female, I believe can connect to the whole picture. When I make this decision in my business, who and how does it impact the whole?
Yeah.
And then the masculine, whether it's within yourself or within your business, can actually act on that after feeling into it. So I
Right.
forget your second question. You asked what would
The
happen if
Well, the impact that that
the
has
impact.
had, what
Yeah.
messes that has left
Yeah.
for us to clean up as far as
Oh.
unconscious business.
Oh yeah. Well, because they're not they we have not let this feminine principle lead. The impact has been on the environment, for example, because they're not considering that matters. They're not considering the future generations. They're not considering the plant life, the animals. They're not considering it, because they're just focused on there's not enough, so I need to make sure I have enough while I'm here on this planet. And then there's impact on, I mean, there's this, I feel it's this impact on our heart. Like the more we do it, the more we close. And the more we don't trust anyone. And we don't trust, we definitely don't trust our systems anymore. We don't trust money. And I see this with light workers now. A lot of light workers have issues around money because they don't trust it. They're feeling like it's bankrupt, it's on a horrible foundation. So then there's people not everyone's thriving. Not everyone is getting access to a life where they're thriving with even just clean water. So there's a huge impact.
Right. And I want to visit that for a little bit. What you've shared already is as far as the impact on ourselves and our heart when we're not in alignment with commerce or decisions. When I say, commerce, it's how we spend our dollars, but also with our conscious, business is what businesses we're supporting, but also how we're engaging in our own business and how we're engaging in however we receive an income, whatever company we are giving our time and energy to, whether it's our own business or whether we're working in alignment with something else. It's like, is this whatever I'm putting my energy into, is it aligned with my personal soul ethics? And if we don't ask that question, we can feel that we're doing for money, our own prostitution, that we're selling ourselves. We are a little selling our health, we're selling time, we're selling our consciousness for money. And so a direct correlation to that, what I found with a lot of my clients, and when I was in business that I wasn't really ethically aligned with, I was monetarily aligned with. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting the money and I'm good at it. So my ego felt nourished. But what I was feeding with my time and energy and intelligence wasn't soulful. So it was costing me energetically. I was more depressed. I drank a lot. I drank a lot more. I ate a lot more. I spent a lot more. Totally. Just to kind of compensate for not being in alignment with what business am I supporting right now. And I lined the pockets of the partners, and I was good at what I did, and I was compensated for what I did. Wow. But I really, the price that I paid was I was doing something well, but I was paying a soul level price and a physical health price.
Yes.
And then there's depression and anxiety and addiction and like worth issues that come from that as a correlation. So the other thing, of course, environment is paying the price. And I appreciate that you brought up the left brain, right brain, masculine, feminine concept, because in the tribe, yes, the feminine were the ones thinking about the children and the elders and the future.
Yes.
And the men were thinking about where's our next meal? How do we keep us safe? And what actions do we need to take to provide for the community? And we need both.
Both. We need both. Yes.
Absolutely. It's not, shaming or elevating masculine or feminine, because to be balanced and thriving consciously, we're going to need to be able to create from that place of taking into consideration what impact it has, what is the future, and also how does a business stay sustainable? Because you can have this wonderful product, but if you don't have that masculine mind going, we need to still stay afloat. Yes. We need to be profitable. And that's not from a place of greed. That's from a place of sustainability.
Exactly. And that's what I love really teaching people or leading by example, is that you can have both. You can have a business or a line of work that feels really good to your soul and thrive financially, and that's, I'm really passionate about that. And I think that's why the work is so important, the inner work. And how do you know what is aligned for your soul if you don't start exploring that? And if you don't start addressing the deeper emotional issues that are in our bloodlines? And if you when we talk about fear and greed as shadow, it's not even from bad, people are bad. It's more so, hey, there is a shadow aspect of our psyche and of our genes that needs to be transmuted. And how do you do that? You go into it. You go into those aspects of yourself. What part of me is still scared there isn't enough? What part of me is still scared that I'll be left behind, or that I'll be abandoned, or that I'll be alone? Like what parts of you? And then address that emotionally. Feel that. Heal that. Be in that. And then as soon as you become open, like more, I would say clearer in your true divine genome, you can connect into that soul calling, just like you're doing, in your current business.
Right? You're going to have to, I really appreciate you brought up the shadow work, because our beliefs that I have to hustle, or I have to be in this profession to make the money to support my family. I work with all kinds of clients that are like, look, I'm an attorney because my whole family are attorneys. And it's not like there aren't great attorneys. There are, that are like in soul
Absolutely.
alignment, 100%.
Yes.
But this one particular client, his example was like, look, this is the industry that I'm in because I have to maintain this lifestyle. So I think there's also a fear that if I change from this old paradigm to a heart-centered paradigm, it's going to cost me my livelihood, my lifestyle. I'm not going to be able to support my family. I'm not going to be able to support myself. I'm going to live impoverished. And all my fears around, lack and poverty are going to come up, and I never want to go back to that place. And so it feels like we're going to be addressing all of our money beliefs.
Yes.
And I love that you said it can be both. You can live in the heart and be prosperous. They can happen together. And facing those fears, doing the shadow work around belief, value, worth, and what are my money beliefs.
That reminds me of Request Bar, because that's what we want people to. We want to give them that courage, or remind them, hey, it's okay to feel scared and still take the jump. When we do that and we see that we're actually supported and we're actually held and we're actually, the universe is conspiring in our favor. But then your brain chemistry starts shifting because you have the proof. Oh, wait, I was okay after all. I was okay to jump. I was okay to expand. I was okay to do something that my brain didn't know I was safe to do. And that reprogramming is so important for our planet right now, because a lot of people are trapped inside of what they think they should be doing, or what society tells them they should be doing. And unfortunately, corporations pay people so much money, and it is a trap. They try to trap them, but if we can kind of break free, not everyone should break free, but the ones that are meant to birth the new earth, birth from this very genuine space. This is how I see our future going.
And this is the transition that we're talking about, of
Yes.
moving from a more me based or greed based, fear based, I win, they lose paradigm, to making this transition. And it can be gradual. It can be parts of our life that we start to transition. And it can, sometimes it's a radical change. Sometimes it's like, my business is falling apart. I can't do this anymore, or I got fired because of this. I got let go because of this, or I can't get out of bed and do this job anymore. I'm on physical disability because I've been out of alignment for so long. There's different reasons. Sometimes we choose them. Sometimes we get the 2x4, we get fired, whatever it is. However you come to that. And sometimes we're pushed and forced into, okay, I've got to move in a different way than I've currently been moving. And I think a lot of people are navigating being forced to make a transition. And like, it's going to take like a lot of breathing to be like, like a lot of fear and anxiety comes up. And that's, I think, where conscious commerce comes in, is that we're going to have to be connecting to the divine. There's going to have to be a level of faith and trust and listening, and not just, okay, I'm quitting my job and I'm just going to open this thing. It's like, okay, there can be a transition. There can be, okay, I'm researching this, I'm building the foundation. It can be gradual. Sometimes it's a big catalyst, but how did that transition work for you, or how did you make
Mm-hmm.
that move? And I did the same, from corporate like to being an entrepreneur, and
Mm.
with as a single mom with twins. So I understand that challenge and fears for
Oh,
sure.
I love that. Yeah. Well, for me, I actually have always been an entrepreneur. And while my ventures were always from passion, or like I started out in wellness and health and nutrition and cooking. And so always still from a place of service or from a place of passion, I cannot say that I had a connection with the divine that was guiding the ship, or that I was tuning into, that I was listening to. I didn't know myself, my emotions, my intuition, let alone was I willing to connect to something outside of me, because I grew up really religious, and it scared me. My experiences, I had a lot of trauma, um, that really scared me from anything that could resemble that. So all spirituality. In 2014, I hit my rock bottom, my dark night of the soul, as we do. And what happened is I started, my roommate I was living with at the time invited me to look in the mirror and to start talking to my inner child, which I had never heard of before. And this completely radically changed my life. And I always get emotional when I talk about it, because it was that instrumental, me connecting with that innocence and that little girl inside me that really needed to hear some things that she hadn't heard. And so I started remothering her. And then I started journaling a lot. My roommate would give me another book and another book, and Marianne Williamson, Gabrielle Bernstein, Leslie. And I started connecting to saying, I was still very scared of the word God at the time, which I've since then healed. But I started connecting into, okay, what would it feel like if I said, Spirit, lead me? What would it feel like if I said, Spirit, what would you have me do? What would you have me say? Where would you have me go? And very soon after this awakening was happening, I was actually invited to Sedona to sit in a plant medicine ceremony with my shaman. And I actually heard, well, first of all, I'll just say that sitting in that ceremony completely altered me, in the sense that it had me know there's something bigger than me. It had me know. And that gave me a lot of permission to be like, I can say God. I can have a spirituality that feels safe to me and feels right to me. And so then the day after that ceremony, by the way, I had heard in that ceremony, Makenzie, your purpose is to spread your glitter. Because I was like, what am I meant to do with my life? What am I going to do? Where am, people are always like, what's my purpose? What am I doing? And for me, it was so simple. It doesn't matter what you do. It's how you do it. And it's more so about bringing your energy, your light to the room, to the people you're with. That will fulfill your purpose. And I was like, that's all?
That's
That's
it.
all I have to do. Okay.
And then how it shows up
Yeah.
changes, whether that's a bar, whether that's a
Yes.
a course,
A
whether that's your
conversation.
parenting, whatever,
Yeah.
however, writing a book, whatever it is like how that manifests can
Mm.
also change, so that your purpose
Yes.
is to shine, and then it's like what the platform, what the tool, what the way, it changes over time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you have to always have grace for yourself to say, hey, it's okay if I'm not doing all the time. I'm still being in my intentional space. And so that literally within 24 hours of that ceremony, delighted by my feminine entity, she presented herself, and she she said, this is, while I was making my dessert hummus at the time, and I heard a voice, and it was like, this is one way you're going to spread your glitter. And so what I did, even though that was my fourth business, I set out to do it differently than
Mm.
I'd ever done it before. Not from force, not from just masculine energy, not from fear, trying to achieve, trying to make money. I wanted to do it from asking these questions. Spirit, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And so I started journaling that, and then I would hear a voice and I would act. So I got a lot of practice from day one with this particular entity, and it's been incredible growth. And I find that when you lead from this place, from something bigger than you, your business isn't really about your business. Yes, it's about your service, but it's also about your own growth. And
Right.
what's happening inside of you is really showing up in your business.
and who you become along the way of birthing a seed that the divine planted in you.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, well, if I allow this seed forward, if I ask, which is a feminine way of allowing and listening and saying,
Yes.
it's the masculine part of humility that says, I may not know all the answers, backing off the ego. The conscious masculine is willing to ask for guidance. And then the feminine's like, okay, I'm listening.
Exactly.
And to allow that intuition to be the hollow vessel, as you said, hey, show me, guide me. And I think that there's a very powerful part of conscious business, because then divine creator source universe can start to plant seeds that you're capable of manifesting, that the mind might not have access to. The mind usually has these programs. This is what's possible. Here is the limitation. Here's the file database of possibilities, which are very, very small,
Yeah.
very outdated, corrupt, and old, and not yours, don't belong to you. And so I think what you shared there is that willingness to ask divine, how would you serve? What would you have me do next? What seed can I manifest? What is a way in which the universe can express through me in a way I can bring a gift, a tool, or resources to help provide something better for humanity, where I can leave it better than I found it. In whether that's from a humanity place. Can I serve humanity? Can I solve some of humanity's problems? Or, is it a health problem? Is it a heart problem? Is it a financial problem? Is it a relationship problem? Like what way can I, a tool or a resource, or a product, or is there a way in which I am serving, Mother Earth and her animals and her plants and her elements? Is like, which way? And sometimes they intersect. Like, how will you have me serve based on my skill set?
Yes.
And my potential, because I might not currently have that skill set, which I hear you AF, just completely like, no, you knocked on the wrong door. And so sometimes when we open to that divine guidance, right, Makenzie, we're like, uh-oh, shit.
You're like, you want me to do what?
I just told exactly what I need, what I want, and what my soul has already agreed to. And I'm, scared and overwhelmed. So that's not a new experience for either of us, but it keeps happening.
It does. Yeah.
It definitely keeps happening. So anyway, there's that common thread, whether you are currently in a business or opening to be an entrepreneur, or finding a new way to bring passive income or supplemental income to your family, or how can I be more in divine alignment with my gift or my service? What organization, what company can my gifts amplify a vision that I agree with and align with? And how can I step up more to serve a vision that's already there, where I don't have to be the visionary? I may be a part of the team, and to own that it doesn't all look like you have to be an entrepreneur. And so I think with conscious business, what I'm hearing you saying and what I've experienced is that there is going to be a component of allowing, listening, and asking of the divine for guidance. Or if you're like in the middle of business and you're like, what the actual, like, like with COVID happened, like I was like, what the actual, I'm sure all of us in different ways, whether we're employed or not, or entrepreneurs or not, are just like, what actually? And I had to be in a full day of meditation going, show me, because I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't like what I'm seeing. And in that still place, Makenzie, after I threw my tantrum and went numb for a day, I gave myself a day tantrum, and then a day of numbness, where I'm just like, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just catching my breath. Like, don't make a decision from a place of non-alignment.
Yeah.
And then, okay, the third day, I was like, help a sister out. Show me. So much inspiration, so many ideas. My business pivoted overnight. I was like, yep. Refund, give all the money back. It's okay. Don't be in fear. Total faith. $25,000 of refunds overnight. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I pivoted from fear to faith overnight. Well, 3 nights. On the third night, I was like, okay, divine has my back, and it's also showing me the next steps. And I think that is wherever stage you are at, there is an ally, an advocate, and a support system that is going to help you birth in business, or like be in alignment with your soul. So,
Mhm.
so what I'm hearing, and I speak the same thing about when I have a business or idea. I speak it as a seed, her, she. I give her a personality. So there's one
Yeah,
person right
it's
now.
fun. It's fun.
And so, with the bar, did that come in the
Mm.
same way, or how did that come in? How is that inspiration
Mhm.
come in for you?
Well, I will just piggyback on what you said really quick to reiterate that, to believe that I mean, we literally have angels around us. We're so surrounded. We have so much support. But to believe that and believe in the miracles and miracle consciousness that's available to us when we connect with the divine, we have to know our worthiness. And so if for anyone's listening is like, how do I get started? Just really dive into, do you feel worthy? And what work is there, for you to feel worthy of that miracle consciousness, of that prosperity, that abundance, those, all those codes. So request bar, it was similar in that it presented itself to me. I was actually on an airplane, and this is in 2016, so it was quite a while ago. It's a big energy, so it's taken quite a long time to ground. And it was a he that kind of presented, and it was very visual. And he was like, I represent the divine masculine, and I'm going to bring the divine masculine onto this planet and assist with that. And I'm also here to, and he shared, like, I'm here to remind people to dream again, to take those leaps of faith, to know that they're so supported, to give them the courage. So we always say, grab a bar and take the leap. Because like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I appreciate that this is more of a masculine energy, because in order to manifest our dreams, in order to make the shift of consciousness, there's going to need to be some bold, courageous action that is going to, like, stretch, like, uncomfortable,
Mhm.
nervous,
Mhm.
anxiety. Yeah. And or facing fear and judgment or criticism from the status quo, whether that is
Absolutely.
your family, whether that's your current tribe, whether that's other people in the industry that don't like that you're innovating in some way, or whatever it is. You
Mhm.
can't do that, or that's not possible. And it's like, well, if spirit said so, I'm going to keep moving forward, and I'll
Yes.
figure it out. If I have to build it myself, if I have to ask for
Mhm.
help, if it takes me longer, if I need to seek
Mhm.
investment in buyers or whatever,
Exactly.
like, there is a level of masculine divine will that starts to align underneath the intuition or the vision. And so, what has
Mhm.
been something, like you said, this has taken many years to ground, because
Mm.
lots of us have fabulous ideas, like wonderful, fabulous ideas that never get manifest. Um,
Absolutely.
and we can talk and talk and talk, and it stays up there in
Mhm.
the air element. The ether is the idea, but the air is like, okay, now I'm talking about it, but it stays there. What fears
Mm.
have you had to overcome? What beliefs did you have to battle with, or demons or dragons did you have to, like, navigate, and are still potentially navigating,
Yeah.
in order for this to actually manifest into a 3D thing that we can taste and ingest when we order it?
So many,
Yeah.
so many fears I've had to overcome. The request bar presented himself to me at a time where I was actually scared shitless of what I was being required to do in pursuit of my dream with Delighted By. My dream was to be the first dessert hummus to national shelves, and I was so, I mean, the nervous system was just needed so much healing, because I was being asked to leap and trust my intuition. We'll have to talk about, Shark Tank, for instance. My intuition, like, Mark Cuban made me an offer, walked away having accepted it after months of talking to him, was intuitively being told to not close the deal.
Hmm.
That was, no one wanted me to make that decision. None of my investors, they end up being so supportive, but it's Mark fucking Cuban. So this was an example, one example of having to be like, can I trust this? And take that leap of faith right now. I always feel that with these, when we're in service to something, it's always going to also be working on us, and it's our responsibility to embody it. and to sit with that for embodiment. And so with Request Bar, what I feel like he's really asking, he's stretching me right now. We paused all of our business in February of 2020. And that's a really long story. But the reason why is because how we were having to do business within that current model was not in alignment with me. It was so nauseating to my body that I was wanting out of the business, even though it's my baby. And I really sat with like, what do I want now? Like, what do I actually desire? And it's like, I don't want any of these. I want to cut the cords with my manufacturer who's continuously screwing me over and stealing. I want to cut the cords with these retailers that are consistently take, and requiring us to go lower in price, which then what happens when you have to lower your price? You have to cut your quality. This is what happens in the industry, and mostly every industry. It's all about price. So right now we have had no revenue coming in since February, and we're investing everything we have. We're being asked to pour everything we have into a facility to relaunch this. And we thought we would have launched by now, and we haven't. And so I just keep listening. Okay. I know I'm safe. I know that I'm supported, and my body is getting an opportunity to embody that, and to not go into fear, stress, anxiety like I used to, and to just keep praying and have the faith, and also enjoy this phase. Be like, it's going to get really busy here soon. So let me just enjoy this.
Yeah, there's so much you shared just then that is super juicy, and I want to really honor when you feel a gut feeling, whether it's a hell yes or a hell no, or I look at that as red light, green light, yellow light. Is it a
Yes.
hell yes? Okay, green light. Oh shit, I got to move forward. We're putting all our chips in. But that's if it's a hell yes. If it's a green light, then you go. And if it's a red light, if the gut instinct, doesn't matter if it's who, it doesn't matter, because if
Totally.
it's a red light with the intuition and we betray that, the cost will be so great.
I know.
Whether it's financial, whether when we betray ourselves, we will attract vendors, we will attract customers, even our own staff or our own partner betraying us, because we started with the vibration of betraying our own truth, our own inner knowing. Right. And so back to intuition is that if it is a red light, it is a red light for a reason. And if it is a yellow light, like, I'm not really sure, then that's proceed with caution, get more information. Don't jump out, jump in. But it's like, buy a little more time, get more information, and then you will feel a yes or a no. But you might need to be in that pause space. Yes. So I want to ask you, because when I was sharing about the hell no, and when you like dishonor your own intuition and betray self, how costly that is, and I could feel the emotion coming up in you. Where has that been for you, where there's been a self betrayal and a big cost?
Oh my gosh. So many expensive lessons.
Yeah.
Energetically and financially. Well, I mean, actually, I just want to say that you were saying, like, sometimes you make a decision and you don't really know how it takes a long time sometimes for your intuitive decision to make sense.
Yeah.
And my example with Mark was one example of that, because when there were problems with my business, I'd be like, shit, did I make the wrong decision? Did I make a mistake? Could Mark Cuban save me from this right now? And now I'm really catching up to how divine that decision was, how instrumental, because this facility would not be happening if he was involved. He'd be like, oh no, we're not doing that. So I just want to say, sometimes it could take 5, 6, 7 years for you to understand why you made an intuitive decision. You can trust that. There were times along the first version of Delighted By where I would get this like, oof, that account isn't aligned for us. But because we have a finance team, right? And which my finance team is so aligned with this message and so embodied in it. But there's, of course, the masculine in any company to say, hey, well, let me give you the logical answers. And I had leadership that would say, well, that account actually is helping us do this, or it's helping us meet our minimums on this flavor, or there'd be some rational explanation that I'd be like, oh yeah, you're right. It's fine. But I really felt like, no. And when there's a huge price tag involved, it's like, oh, you're just going to cut a multi-million dollar account. It's
Back to the greed versus
yes,
fear and faith,
yes.
faith versus fear. Like, we're going to be okay if it's not
Mm-hmm.
aligned. That the fear is we're not going to be okay.
Yep.
And the faith is we're going to be okay, because like an account that sucks energy and takes 10 times the customer service and is like begins to drag on the business
Yes.
becomes less profitable, and it brings everybody
Way,
down. And I'm like,
way less
you know,
profitable. That's it. And
exactly.
if I really look at it, there's an element to every account that felt that way. And so what I did was I made myself the problem. I said, you know what? I just must be too sensitive for this industry. I must be too much, must be too feminine, must be too emotional. I must be. So then I brought on some masculine help, some energies. They said they were aligned with my mission and on the purpose. And then they started making decisions. And I was like, whoa, that is not what we're up to here. And when I saw that, I saw how much I had devalued my own leadership.
And that started first, and then
Yeah.
we attract those people on the team that
Yes.
also don't value your opinion. You're like, well,
Totally.
as you wished, here I
Yes.
am, just a vibrational expression of your own self-respect right now, or lack of it, or doubt. Like, here I am manifesting in the 3D, something
Literally.
you have to push against to say, wait a second, my voice matters. It's like, yep, okay, lesson learned. Okay, now we can disappear.
Exactly. And so I finally had this huge light bulb moment. It's like I had to see it start to unfold if it wasn't under my leadership, to be like, oh, no, that's not my responsibility to her, to me, to the world, to my investors. Like, we are doing this for something so different. And so I pulled the plug, terminated them all.
I'm
Took
sure
us
you heard a lot from them about you're making
legal, had
mistakes.
to get lawyers involved, all
Yeah,
the things. But I was like, that warrior spirit came online, that mama bear. And I said, I will never devalue myself again. And I said that to this person that I knew I had attracted him because I hadn't valued myself.
right.
I would
Because it's
never,
not about him.
no,
It's
it's not.
never about the customer. It's never about the client. It's about what are your values and the
Yes.
vibration of your values. And wherever there's a distortion
Mm.
in a relationship, a
Mm-hmm.
professional, personal, with health, with whatever it is, with yourself, wherever there's a distortion, wherever there is residue that's really not in alignment, of course, we're going to be in the classroom that shows
Yeah.
us that. And we might self betray again. And now the cost will be higher. I'm sure that was,
Yes.
not a free lesson financially.
Oh my gosh. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so now, but I'm so grateful, to have gone through the experience so that now I can speak about it and hopefully people can, learn from my mistakes. And I'm so grateful to be in this space of valuing myself and my leadership again. It feels so free. And yeah, I'll leave it at that and see if you have any other questions about that.
Well, I think with that, there's a couple of things, when I have those, I just call them business school tuition.
There it
Like,
is.
wow, business school, $100,000, $5,000,
Oh,
$50,000.
I love that.
Right,
That's
like,
so great.
oh, business school. That was my course in self value. It was a
Oh,
$300,000 course, and I have a master's in that now. I have passed
PhD.
the test. I have passed the test, and I have come to embrace, not always embrace, if I'm being honest. I
Mm,
have come to see, not always immediately, not
mm,
always excitedly, that, oh, this was the tuition that I paid for this lesson. I made the decision too quickly out of lack or fear. Like, I need to hire somebody right away, they're fine. And then hire the wrong person, total drama,
Yeah.
chaos, oh, this system is fine, implement it, wrong system, poor, shitty customer service, and then it's a $5,000 tuition.
Oh.
And so I've learned that it's the price tag is a direct correlation of how important the lesson is. And I might have,
Whoa.
right? Because you can't birth it without your value. Like, this bar is like, Mom,
So
if you
true.
don't value you, I can't be me.
Totally.
Right?
100%.
I can't be bringing, I can't request, I can't be what I came here to be if you don't value you. And so our children, our dreams, our wishes, like, bring this about in us. And a dream like this, a seed like this that has its own mission, of course, is going to bring to light the cracks in the foundation of self-worth. In my case, for those things, for my business, I was impatient. I hired quickly. I didn't trust my intuition. I knew they weren't a quite fit. Literally, I hired somebody a couple years ago, and I was like, yellow light. It was a yellow light hire. And I was literally on the land that day, and I twisted my feminine ankle, my left ankle.
Oh my God.
Like literally, I've been living in Sedona for 11 years. I've been doing retreats and like all kinds of things here for 18 years. I've been hiking here for miles and miles and miles, never twisted an ankle. The day I hired her, from a yellow light vibration of like, this is good enough, I literally twisted my left ankle, which is about support and stability. Like, this person is not going to provide stability for me. I literally twisted my ankle, which is the root chakra, and fell on my ass, which is also the root chakra. And I'm like, this person isn't going to support me or the business. And that's why I'm hiring them as a support person. So conscious business, whether you're being hired or doing a hiring, is this an alignment? And if it's a yellow light, it's not. It's not. And
100%.
I got off the land limping. Like, I literally had to limp for 2 miles, really getting the message in there. So this was a physical cost one, not so much a financial one.
Right.
Because I had my foot up for 4 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
While I was hiring a new person. I literally came back, called her that day and said, it's not working. And I was like, I will not do that again. I will not make decisions from a yellow light place, whether it's about my heart, whether it's about dating and romance, whether it is business, whether it is hiring, it's too costly.
Absolutely. That's such a good story that you get to pass along to people. Oh, wow.
Yours too.
Yeah.
So conscious commerce is also really deeply about following that intuition. And if you don't, that's okay. You'll have stories like ours.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, and that's part of conscious business is when you fall, when you fail, when there's a hiccup with it, which there will be, being a conscious entrepreneur, being in a conscious path, your soul path, doesn't mean it's easy or mistake free or obstacle free.
100%. No, it'll test your surrender. It'll test your stretch, your ability to connect to the divine, and and you'll grow through those challenges.
It'll birth you.
It absolutely does. And especially when it comes to relating with people, that within business, just like within union, you have so many opportunities to heal our relationship wounds. Because within business, I mean, are you going to say what's coming up for you? You're not. And are you going to be honest about what you're seeing, what you're feeling, or are you going to withhold? And if you withhold, it's not going to go well. Or if you project or react, it's not going to go well. So you had to find this harmonious way of relating, which we need across the board. Communication,
honest, clear, compassionate, calm. I'm working on these. These are
Look,
Their
See,
standard.
you're honest though.
Right? It's part of it, and
Yeah.
and knowing that that's going to be a foundation, whether it's a vendor, whether it is a client, whether it is a staff person, an investor, whatever it is, a clear, conscious, calm communication. And I had somebody actually, a potential client, kind of bullying my office manager, who was trying to book an appointment in and was trying customer service, and this person was just unhappy, throwing a tantrum, and like, I need to talk to Anahata right now. And I'm like,
Oof.
hey, you don't get to talk to my staff this way.
Mm-mm.
I still came with a heart centered, and I'm like, you're still not going to talk to me because you don't get to throw a tantrum and be a bully and steamroll my staff to try to get your way to get to me. Like, I'm not going to
Beautiful.
reward that. I'll send you a message. You'll hear my voice, and I'll create an invitation for us to align with a program, with an offer, with an experience that feels in alignment to me. And I will also remind you to speak to my staff respectfully and thank you so much. They're an expression of me,
Yeah.
because a conscious business is also valuing colleagues and staff and advocating, like,
Totally.
this is, I don't need that business if
No.
you're going to bully my assistant.
Yeah. I
I'm going to
love
invite us to rise. I'm not going to be angry with you. My heart is open.
Mhm.
And I'm going to invite a higher vibration of interaction at a customer service level. Not that I haven't been a full bitch to customer service people. Let's just be super clear.
Yes.
Not that I haven't fully been a rageful bitch, like just like throwing a tantrum and whatever.
Totally. Oh my gosh, so many lessons in having employees and having business partners and being like, "Oh wow, I would have said that differently," or "I wish I would have my tone would have been different there." And it's just I'm so grateful to the people that like stuck around during those times and many didn't. um but I think that's something else that I'm excited to for other people to experience within their business is family. These like family connections and collaboration. It feels so good, so fun.
Well, and this is where you get to attract in whatever your business environment is, whether that's an office you're working in or a business that you're working with and for, whether that is a nonprofit organization, whether it's an entrepreneur, that we get to choose
Mm.
who we work with. And I've just raised the bar higher and higher
Nice.
of people that I collaborate with and I do business with, and the
Mhm.
clients, customers. It all is just raising to the point of joy. And this is where the heart centeredness comes in. And this is the true aspect of shifting greed to prosperity, because prosperity is also a
Oh,
vibration, a feeling, a joy. I love my work. I love the people. Like, I can't believe that this is my business partner. This is the attorney. This, like, and we're going to ecstatic dance on the rocks. And
oh, it's
like,
so
this,
true.
we can up level the tribe that we do commerce with. And those may also be the people that we vacation with. They
Yeah.
also may be the godparent of your child. Like, it can just be a win, 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 win for everybody. And that's
Mm,
that's that's where there's, I love this, like the family vibration,
yeah,
that it's not just a place you go to work and you're like, oh, but
totally.
you're in love with the people that you're in business with.
Exactly. That's been the most nourishing part of my business is and my investors are my family.
Exactly.
They see me, they call me out, they love me, they travel with like they're just amazing. And then same with my team members. And you mentioned upgrading our relationship to money and prosperity and relating it to like products. What I really think would be a good step for anyone as a consumer is to when you go buy something at the store, ask yourself, I like what went into this. Okay, so what went into it? Well, they had to make the product. Well, who made the product? And then how did those people feel when they were making this product? How did those are they thriving? Are those employees thriving? How are they treated at work? Are they treated do they feel like they're family? Think about these things. Same thing with the ingredients if it's food or a piece of furniture. Where did this wood come from? Where did it travel from? And then who paid the person that cut it down, and who paid the person that processed it, and what about these ingredients, where'd they come from, did the farmers get paid well? Start asking these questions, because right now we're such a value driven society, and by value I mean like low
Price.
cost, yeah, price, low price. So people go, oh, it's on sale, okay, or oh, it's $2.99, but this organic one, smaller businesses, like $6.99. And honestly, that's why we started getting discontinued from many stores, because we could not keep up with the competition of lower priced products that were copycats to ours. But I
Or lower
really,
quality.
way lower
Copycat,
quality.
but lower quality. It's like,
Yes,
a filler does take up space and
it
it's cheap.
does.
And, and well, who pays the price
Someone
is,
always does.
somebody, the person that ingests it,
Oh, that's true. That person too does.
because
Yes.
then they've paid with their health.
It's so
And
true. And vibration. And so that's, I see that when in terms of commerce and manufacturing and industry and changing patterns and creating the new earth, we're going to have to start creating demand for, well, we don't have to create demand, but if we're going to shift the demand from a
Mhm.
lower quality, lower price product to the thing that actually pays what it's meant to cost. Like, this is what it actually costs when you pay someone well. This is what it actually costs when you source ethically. This is actually what it costs when you buy organic. This is actually what it costs. But we don't know what it costs, because
Right.
everything we see on the shelf
It's
is
already
not what
done.
oh,
Right.
yeah, already diluted.
Thank you for bringing that awareness of just how was this processed, how was this created, and with what
Mm.
intention and with what quality, down to the packaging, all of that. And
Yes.
it's not like we can go completely zero footprint on everything that we do from the very beginning.
Right.
It's a migration, and we get to
Yes.
be okay. Here's where the product packaging is today. This,
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
doesn't exist yet. A packaging that can biodegrade, or this doesn't exist yet.
Totally.
I know that one of the companies, I think it was Cliff Bar, or I think it might have been Cliff Bar.
Mhm.
But one of them was doing biodegradable packaging, but then it didn't have the shelf life.
Mm.
Packaging didn't have enough shelf life, so it was breaking
Yes.
down. You're like, oh,
Uh-oh. Yeah.
we don't yet have the material, doesn't yet
It
exist
doesn't. Nope.
to do this. It's like, okay, well, then here's where we are today. So I do appreciate that you are
Mm.
just planting the seed of awareness when
Mm.
we're talking about commerce, our dollars, where we are putting our dollars.
Mm.
So what impact is that having? What eco footprint does it have? How is it sourced? How is it paid for? And what are the quality ingredients? And there are those of us, more and more as we get more aware, are will like, I will pay the extra dollar. I will
Same.
pay the
Yeah.
extra $2 because I don't want to pay it in the cost of
Mhm.
of like diabetes later on. I don't like
Yes.
are willing to We're willing to think, your target market is those that are willing to think long term for their health as well.
Mhm.
And so, yes, you might not be in a mainstream market in some ways, or
No,
at least
right.
at this time,
Yep.
but it may be more of those boutique platforms that are like, I want the highest quality. I won't compromise
Mm.
of ingredients, but also in production and ethical standards. So,
Yes.
thank you for holding yourself and others to a higher standard and not compromising, because then
Mm.
you show the way.
Thank you. I'm really passionate about supply chains. I think they're really interesting because of how so many people don't know what goes into a product.
True.
They're like,
It's true. We don't. We're so
yeah.
removed.
Michael and I have a nonprofit called Cacao, Kakao, Cacao Ceremonial Drinking Chocolate. Yes, it's ceremonial grade cacao, but we work directly with the farmers. We have our own facility. All the manufacturing is happening. We know what's happening, and they're getting. Well, let me say this: the farmers, they choose their price, not
Mm,
us. They set their price.
yeah.
And this is how it really should be, because it's their family farm. It's their hard work. It's
And
their
cost.
labor. It's their costs. It's their life. Their entire life is farming. So it's above fair trade, and this feels really good to know that yes, we're still bringing, a plant from the jungle all the way here.
Well,
And I feel that the spirit of cacao has given permission to many to do that, to kind of restore balance on
Yeah.
this planet with the heart and the head. Um, and to open us to our creativity and these other things. So she's really serving, but it feels good to know we've dug into the supply chain, that we know where the farms are, we know where the farmers are, and we have that direct relationship. And this is, you have to go the extra mile, and then you have to trust that people are going to pay for it. Our product would never sell in stores. Who's going to buy a $40-$50 bag of cacao,
Yeah.
off the
The right
shelf?
people. The right
And,
people will. The
and
right
yes,
people will. The right
they will do.
places. The right places, like
Mm,
Chocolate Tree here in Sedona.
true.
Love
Chocolate
producing
chip would
here in
do it.
Sedona.
Yes.
We would totally do that
Yes.
because these are the people that
Mm,
are really focused
they're
on
looking.
conscious consumption.
Yes. Yes.
So conscious business is commerce. Where do I put my dollars? What do I consume? How do I consume it? Like you said, I'm consuming it with a request to the universe that my manifest dream into reality. Like, I love that
Mm,
you're linking those.
yeah.
And we're just raising the bar. And that's what consciousness is, a journey of raising the bar. How we can do better, raising our standard, raising our integrity, raising the quality, and raising us in alignment with what is possible
Mm,
and our potential. We're raising those limitations to that. So, if you, what other suggestions, advice, closing insights would you have for anybody that is having a fear, a worry, or a concern, or they have a dream and they're like,
mm,
like any of that you would have, to help somebody go forward with their dream in whatever way that looks.
mhm. Yes. Sometimes we can get so big picture and that the whole vision scares us. We just need to think of what's the next right step. And right. And then I've heard many coaches ask the question, who do I have to become in order to make this next right step, or to be the kind of person that can hold this enterprise or this creative idea or this project or this whatever it is that you're visioning of, you're dreaming of. Ask, who do I have to become to be that person? And then also, what's the next right step?
Oh,
And
I'm
yeah,
all about that next right step. What is
yeah,
the next step?
yeah.
And it might be to ask for help. It might be to
Yes.
learn something, learn a system, or like dive into the supply chain. It might be like, I need to hire somebody.
Mm,
I need to, bring somebody, advice from somebody that has already done this. There's people that have already done certain things, and it just flattens the learning curve if we can ask for advice. Um, I love, who do I need to become? And so for those listening and watching, what qualities does this future version of you embody? Well, it
mm,
might be value and self-worth. It might be courage. It might be creativity. It
mm.
might be a deep listening and a spiritual trust. So um, really asking, we invite you to do this now. Ask yourself what you just said, Makenzie, of what qualities does this version of me that is birthing this dream, what qualities do they embody? What are their values? And who do they surround themselves with? Who do they need around them to really, succeed here with this? Because
Mm.
we're going to need a tribe that believes in us and isn't just a yes person.
Yes,
Like, when
absolutely.
we're full of shit, we need also a person to be the truth teller.
Oh my gosh, yes. And that's the thing too, we have to remember that when we take the next right step and we pursue what some would call our dharma, our genuine soul path, that's when you attract so much support. Like, you will attract your people, your fractal line. Like, when I started out, I didn't know anyone in this world of spirituality. Like, I would have died to just talk to you, and meet you. I mean, like, wait, you too? Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad we're doing this together. But it took me a couple of years to kind of get to this place where I was then attracting that. And so just know, like, even if you don't have any support around you right now, you will attract the support when
And
you
ask
believe
for
in
it.
yourself enough. And you have to be willing to ask for it. I've
For it.
That's my biggest tip for success, is ask for help.
Ask for help. If you, of course, we're not going to have all the answers to places we haven't been before.
No, I'm so blessed with so much help and support.
And
I
there's that
wouldn't.
humility to allow that in and just, I don't have to do it all myself. The time of the
Mhm.
lone wolf is over,
No,
and the
nothing to
ego
prove.
feeling, yeah, nothing to
To
prove.
prove.
I love this. I'm so excited to taste your bar when it comes hot.
Oh,
You know,
I'm gonna
like
bring it to you.
well, it's a raw bar, right? It's a, you said it's a vegan
We
bar.
Yep, we melt the coconut oil, so or not coconut oil, the cocoa butter.
Ooh,
Um,
yum.
yeah, no refined oils, but yeah, I'm gonna bring you some. I'm bringing you some
Yes,
at
come here to Sedona.
Big gift basket of request bars.
Yes, yes, I love it all. See, this is about being receptive. I will
Yes, you're like,
absolutely,
"Yes, please."
I will take care of you, sister.
Aw.
Thank you so much, first of all, for just, breaking through your own limitations and
Mhm.
paying your business school tuition.
I'm gonna use that from here on out.
Like seriously, I know I've spent a lot. I've like
Yeah.
really
Hopefully I've graduated. No more.
exactly. There's these little refinements, like, okay, good, a
Yes.
little refresher course in that. Okay, fine.
So
But
good.
thank you for
Mm.
allowing yourself to be fertile ground for products, visions, and for listening to your intuition and having the courage to say no when you needed to, and to say hell yes when you felt like it. And
Mm.
the one other thing that I did want to mention that you were saying earlier that I thought was important is around cycles, that you don't always have to be going and doing, that
No.
nothing in nature is flowering or fruiting all year round. And so know the cycle of your business, know the cycle of yourself, whether you're in a birthing and creative time, or whether you're like, okay, we just launched, I need to rest and replenish, or I'm not sure what's next, I need just
Mm.
reflection, or I need to fill my cup back up. And
Exactly.
like
I love that.
knowing the season that you're in,
Yes, that's what I'm getting. Honor the winter.
honor
Honor
the
the
winter.
Mm.
And also honor the spring, and like spring, summer, and fall, because those are like, sometimes you got to let go of the leaves and or parts of the dream. Like you had a fall season when you
Mhm.
fired everybody. Okay, I'm letting
Oh,
this go.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
fall season,
That's true. I never thought of that.
right? That's a fall season. Like I've
Mm.
got it. Like, no, I need to step back, let go. This isn't serving, or this has served its purpose. That's a fall season. And then the winter, okay, let's replenish, let's catch breath,
Mm.
let's be still. And then there's that spring of potential and dreaming and birthing, and then there's like the real manifestation, the work in summer, where we're
Mm.
harvesting and doing the work. And so, like, knowing your season, where you are with yourself
Mm.
but also with the things that you're dreaming.
100%. I love that analogy.
So thank you for everything that you're doing. I'm so excited. So remember, everybody, we're going to give you the codes to the website where you can go and use Anahata to get a discount on that dessert hummus. I'm so excited to try that.
Yes.
I'm sure that's delicious, and I'm all about dessert, especially
Same,
if
obviously.
it doesn't hurt me. Like,
Yes. All right.
not
And
that I haven't really had a lot of dessert that hurts me. Like
oh, yeah. We
that.
need
Like,
we need alternative, yeah, unprocessed, cleaner
yeah.
versions. Yeah.
So our sweets love us back.
Yeah. So true.
So thank you for that, and also for the bar. I'm so excited to
Mm.
dream to put my requests
Aw,
into the bar.
that's so
Oh,
special.
it's a lovely. I'm going to share that with everybody. So go get the bar for 20% off. Pre-order it now, or it will come to you with it whenever this goes live. Bars will be headed your way. 20% off. Go try it out. Support a conscious business. Whatever the
Mm.
price is, it's 100% worth it. It will come back to you 100-fold as you request your dreams while you ingest it. Let's just
Aw.
like.
You're the new request bar model. Like, you're so good. You got this.
Like, this is what you do. It'll come back to you 100-fold, like the investment and all that you put out. All that you put out into this will come back to you 100-fold, because you heard the request from this vision, from this seed. So let everybody know again where they can find you, your gram, your
Yes.
websites, all the things. Okay.
Okay, deal. So on Instagram at Makenzie Marsliff, and requestbar.com with 20% off with your discount code Anahata. Delightedbydesserts.com. Again, same discount code. And then Fly Cacao, FLYKAKAO.com. That is a nonprofit, so we're not offering discounts. We give everything back to the farmers. And you can go to at Cacao Drinking Chocolate, KAKAO. on
Okay.
Instagram. Mhm.
Make sure that we have all of those links so that we will put
Deal.
those in the show notes. She's going to make sure we've got every single thing that she said will be in there. And also remember the free gift, the guided visualization
I
to
can't wait to
align
listen to
your
that.
chakras so that that way you can be making decisions for that are in the highest alignment of your soul essence. So
So important.
yes, it is so important. If this was valuable for you, please like it, please
Mhm.
share it, please subscribe so you can get the latest podcast. That
Mhm.
really helps this message get out to more people. And so appreciate you guys know you can find me here in Sedona, shamangelichealing.com, Instagram at Anahata Ananda. And all of these podcasts
Mhm.
are up on YouTube as well, because I love to watch,
Yeah.
as well as listen. So that's up on YouTube under Shamangelic Healing. So thank you so much. I love what you're doing. I'm
Thank you.
excited
Beautiful.
to dream the dream with you and looking forward to
Oh,
seeing you here in Sedona.
you too. I so appreciate you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I feel that. I feel that. And thank you,
Mm.
everybody, for tuning in and listening. And just may you follow your heart. May you make conscious decisions with your commerce that align with your heart and soul and your mission. Okay, we love you. Mwah.
Love you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.